Yeah, okay, so then, now, here comes the public. After all this, the feasibility, the agreement to initiate, the crew's already going on, the memorandum of understanding, and all that. Now, on September the 25th, 2008, the article comes out in the News of Record, which is the Lewiston Tribune. Public notice is given. Now, how is it given?
After all this money is spent
Yeah.
by Western Pacific Timber.
Yeah.
And all these parcels have been chosen without the public's knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, so that was September of 2008. Then they projected in that there would be scoping meetings held by the public, for the public. Of course, if you didn't get any notification or anything, the general public, you didn't get the trib, you don't know about this, but the scoping meetings are set for November. Now remember, who are the users in here? Hunters, people that work, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, November 17, 18, and 19 at Elk River, at Moscow, and at Elk City, because there's a large portion of the exchange near Elk City, including the Elk City Ranger Station. So they have these scoping meetings, and they're set up to be run from 5 o'clock in the evening to 7 o'clock or something. It's dark city. Can you imagine how many people are going to Elk River at that time? My gosh. And
No,
I
because
attended the Elk River meeting along with my brother and a current employee from the district. We attended that meeting. I'll bet there wasn't 4 publics or 5 publics at that meeting, but there was Forest Service, there was Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, there was WPT, and you know, and they had stations, not stations, you went in and you just talked, you know. Forest Service knew nothing about the particulars of these lands. Most people, whatever handful was there, thought that this was a continuation of a project called Robo-Elk, and they had already been on the ground for it. So hardly nobody turned out for that. Well,
so, and these were the maps that the public was showing,
sure.
which clearly there's no highway going through there. You can't find where the locations are.
Here's a highway, and here's Elk River. And this is the big unit that has essentially been dropped, except for some of the bottom portion down
that we
here.
believe, possibly.
And this was a part that was in the watershed and they dropped a portion of that. Whatever part comes into the Partridge Creek watershed was dropped after significant input from the
But
public.
this is the map that the public saw. You can't see where there's any roads going into here or any of the taxpayers' money involved in developing this. And
well, again, here's state lands, but you don't see all the potlatch land that's involved in this exchange. I'm still making that connection between WPT, Blickseth, and potlatch because of what was purchased by potlatch at McCall. And the fact that Plum Creek execs came to potlatch, and I can't imagine that as smart as people like that must be, that they would let the upper Locksaw be snatched up by a land developer that wants to exchange land that's right around their ownership. To corroborate that kind of deal, what I would say, when we were at the Tri-County Commissioners meeting in Lewiston, Lonnie Way and I, when asked by either Lonnie or myself, what do you do with this land when you get it? There's only 3 of you at the most that are involved in the management of it. We sell the timber under contract, and we sell the land to the nearest industrial landowner, which is potlatch. Now, they tried to deny that in several meetings, but I didn't take the notes, but I have the notes that were taken by somebody else at the commissioners meeting down in real estate.
Right.
So then comes the meeting in Moscow. They held at the, what is it, the employment office or?
Yeah.
Anyway, I finally found a place, but in the meantime, my brother and I happened to go out, and we went out to this unit up here, which I was very familiar with. That's called North Bowville Unit. And we went out there, and I did a little filming out there of what we saw, you know, because that's an anadromous fisheries. And there's been tremendous study put into the West Fork of Potlatch Creek as far as that anadromous fisheries is concerned. West Fork of Potlatch Creek comes up through here. In fact, the documentation on that, the draft EIS and the EIS and the decision notice weighed 7.5 pounds.
And that was all about the fish in that
And that was
particular
all about
parcel?
this area up here, that, and we're gonna trade that out, see? That shows how little the people knew of the areas that were put up. Anyway, we went out there, and we also went up to Jerome Creek. Now, when we were at Jerome Creek, up there, we met a near neighbor who pulled up with a horse trailer, and she had a friend with her, and they were unloading their horses. And I says, do you realize that in a couple of years you might not be able to unload your horses here? What? Because they're going for day ride. We got tons of people in this area that are horse people, you know?
Yeah.
Go for rides all the time. And said, what do you mean? I said, well, this is in a land exchange. And they're having a meeting down in Moscow. You know, we gave her the date, the 18th, and it spread the word. And everybody we met when we were out, you know, in these areas, and in Waterhole Creek, we'd stop and say, hey, do you know about this? No, go to the meeting. So they had a few more people at the Moscow meeting.
Yeah.
Then the one that was held at Elk River on the 19th, two really important people attended that. And when they attended it, this was Roger and Janice Ingram from Grangeville. And Roger, like Tom, is kind of he's a photography expert and a lot of stuff on wildlife. And I've got that upside down. And so he got wind of this, and this is the land around Elk City that was in the exchange. Now, this is the American River that flows up through here, and that's an anadromous fishery. What a super place for development. You wanted to say, you wanted to get land that was really great. You say, hey, you can put your $1 million house up here, you know, and you can fish first.
You can watch the fish, it's so clean, you can see the fish in the stream.
So this is interesting, because this land was put up when the supervisor of the Nez Perce National Forest was Jane Cottrell. And she put this land up along with the Elk City Ranger Station, which is right here. That was in the exchange. So anyway, Roger, in November the 20th, took his video camera and he went up here after making a great presentation, an introductory presentation, and he went up here and filmed this, and he sent a copy of that DVD that he had made, an 8-minute copy. He sent it to Tom Riley. He sent it to Jane Cottrell, who had put this up, who he personally knew, who was now Deputy Regional Forester. He sent it to Tom Tidwell, who was the Regional Forester. He sent that copy of that to Abigail Kimball, who was the Chief of the Forest Service. Do you know that unique 8-minute disc that those people received did not receive a single comment.
And they did an amazing job on it
It's
too.
a-
I've seen it, it
It's
was
a
wonderful.
beautiful production. But when you, a public official, do not have the common courtesy to respond to something like that, you know this is a done deal. And
Yeah.
that makes me angry as heck. The same was true with that letter that was sent to Mr. Tidwell from a lowly employee on the Police Ranger District that was sent to the forest supervisor as a letter, a copy of that to Mr. Tidwell, and not one response from their supervisor. That's terrible.
Yeah, most people, I know a lot of letters have been sent with no response, or very, very little if they have gotten any.
Well, because these were so unique and not getting a response, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong. And when Abigail Kimball says, hey, make it happen, it was already a done deal.
Yeah.
And this would have cruised right
Well,
on
the
through.
timeline shows
Okay,
that.
so we go back to the timeline here. But in November, they had these scoping meetings. In December, the 7 dwarfs went to the county commissioners. And that's our 7 retirees. Went to the county commissioners, and the district ranger, Kara Chadwick, was invited by the county commissioners as well. And we talked to the commissioners. Now, to me, this is another important part. Over the years, the Forest Service rangers, which I'm not a ranger, never was, but 3 of these people in the 7 dwarfs were rangers. They established tremendous credibility with county commissioners. Now, when that credibility is broken, like the ranger broke, because she was told by the forest supervisor, when you're in an official capacity, you will speak of this exchange in positive light. So Kara had gone to the county commissioners, spoke of this exchange in a positive light, and the county commissioners, having their hands full with everything else, having already developed a tremendous trust in what the forest ranger told them, says, hey, fine. When we went there and started talking to the commissioners, they got disturbed. And what that happened was that they caused another scoping session to take place later on. They caused that scoping session to take place. But that took place over a number of articles that were appearing in the paper, opinion stuff, you guys getting informed and things like that. But here, on the 12th and in December 17th, just a couple of weeks after we had met with the county commissioners, WPT set up a tri-county commissioners meeting down in Lewiston to extol the virtues of the exchange.